Hello and welcome to the Satanist Podcast. Today I've been speaking with Rebecca Owen, also known as Vegan Pixie Warrior, all about how she's putting the edge into the Liberation Pledge. So let's skip all the formalities and get right into the meat of it, like the tofu of it. Let's get into the tofu of it.
Do you think it's important for people to take the pledge?
I think that there are so many different forms of activism, and it's about finding the right one for you. The Liberation Pledge isn't for everyone. It can be hard to fit it into their lives, especially if you're living with non-vegans.
Yeah.
For me, it was a very important thing for me to do. I remember speaking to my friend George Martin about the pledge, and we were slating it, going, how can it's rubbish, why would you do that, we need to create vegan demand, and eating with people and them seeing your food and them tasting your food and sharing it, and that's really important to do. And I don't think I've really understood it until it was explained to me by a friend, and then I got it and I thought, I have to do this. But I'd love for everyone to take the Liberation Pledge. I think it would be absolutely powerful and fantastic and a great thing to do. But I get that it's not for everybody.
So what was it that your friend said that made it make sense to you?
So I went to stay with him for the Animal Rights March in London in 2019, and I really wanted to be part of a cube in London because I'd never done a big cube. And London's where it all started in the UK. So I stayed with him, and I noticed he had a fork bracelet on, and so I asked him, have you taken the Liberation Pledge? And he said, yeah. And he explained to me that there are kind of 3 ways to take the pledge. So in my head, I had it that you'll only sit with vegans, you will only eat in vegan restaurants, and that's what I had in my head. But there are 3 different ways. So he said the first way is for you'll sit with people that are eating vegetarian food. So there'd be non-vegans and non-vegetarians, but they can still have cow secretions and chicken ovulations on their plate, but you'll sit with them and eat with them. The second option is you'll only eat with people that are eating vegan food. So again, it'll be non-vegans. And you'll eat, say, for example, I'm going to drop a name here, I'm not paid, but Wagamama's, which is my favourite chain restaurant to go to for vegan options. And I think it's really important to create that vegan demand. So you'll sit in that restaurant with other people, but they have to eat vegan food while they're sat with you. And the third and final option of taking the pledge is to eat only in vegan restaurants. That to me is a great thing to do. There are so little independent vegan restaurants. They need our support, especially at the moment with COVID and lockdown. But it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to create that demand. He also explained, there's 3 stages to the pledge. Number 1, you pledge to become vegan. Number 2, you pledge to only eat with people that are eating vegan food. So you don't eat where animals are being eaten. And number 3 is you talk about the pledge. So in a sense, talking about, you're inspiring others to take the pledge, but you're also inspiring others people to go vegan as well. Because remember, part one of the pledge is to go vegan. That's part 1, which everyone kind of forgets. They think it's just the eating part, but there are 3 parts to it. And he just explained why he'd taken it, and it kind of resonated with me because the things he was saying was, we're out on the streets and we're doing street activism and we're telling people to go vegan, and we're saying that this is wrong, this is not normal, this shouldn't be normalized. We need to go vegan and we need to stop causing these atrocities to animals. And then we're going home and we're going out with our friends and family and we're sitting down while they're tucking into a piece of cow, or they're tucking into some yogurt from a cow that's been raped and had a baby taken away from her. And it's kind of inconsistent with our own values. We're telling complete strangers this isn't right, and then we're saying, oh, but it's okay for our family and friends to do it. So, and for me, I think I took the pledge in September 2019, and I'd been active for almost a year and watching footage all the time, every week, and going to vigils, as often as I could, which wasn't very often back then because I was working full time. Every time I went out, when I was seeing friends and family, I was becoming anxious. I was becoming upset. I'd come home and I'd be angry because I wasn't seeing what they're seeing. You know, as a
Yeah.
vegan, when you go vegan, you don't see the bit of chicken piece. You see the chicken hanging up from her hind legs, being dragged through an electric bath and having her throat slit. That's what I see. That's what I visualize when I'm seeing animals being eaten in front of me. I feel like there's zombies eating brains. That's how I feel. I think that's probably the best way I can describe
No,
it.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just found it too upsetting to do anymore. And Mark just really sold it to me, and I asked him how he fit it into his life because he's got a very high-powered job. He has a lot of business meetings. He told me about a meeting he had. He had a business trip in Amsterdam and a meeting with a very big client. He told him about his pledge, and the client said, "Let's go to a vegan restaurant then." And they went to a vegan.
Okay.
I know, yeah. So it's easy to fit in. I think that's one thing I like about interviewing different people that have taken the pledge on my channel, because I can find out how they've approached it. I mean, the last year, obviously, it's been difficult to live the pledge because I haven't seen anyone. I mean, it's been easy to live the pledge because I live with a vegan, so there hasn't been any problems there. But I haven't been out for any meals or, you know, social events. So
sort of what
level? That answers
level?
the question. I rambled.
No, that answered the question very well, very thoroughly. And which level do you personally take it? Are we going for vegan restaurants or what?
I'm level 2 because I think we need to create vegan demand. So probably going to annoy a lot of vegans now, but I will go to KFC and buy the vegan KFC burger.
Yeah.
I will go to Wagamama's. If McDonald's bring out something, I'll go and buy it. I mean, I haven't been to McDonald's I've only been vegan for 3 years, and I haven't been to McDonald's for probably 15, 20 years. But I will go there and buy it because I think we need to create that demand, definitely.
It's a very interesting discussion to have. On the one hand, yeah, you are giving the oppressor money, which doesn't feel right. But on the other hand, yeah, you know, if there's a big demand for the vegan products, perhaps they'll prepare more of those rather than prepare, you know, by killing animals.
Exactly.
It's a very difficult conversation to have.
It is.
I'm not sure what the right answer is there. What is the goal of doing this?
The goal of doing this is to get people to go vegan. For me, I found that, and I don't know about you, but before I took the pledge, I would sit with people and the whole vegan thing would come up, and I would try and tell them about what happens to the animals that they're eating, and it would just be a block. I found since taking the pledge, that doesn't happen. It's really, really weird. I'll sit with meat eaters, with animal abusers, and they'll be sat with me and they'll be eating vegan food. And I don't feel like I need to bring it up because they're not eating animals. I don't feel like I need to educate them because I'm not being forced to watch them eat that mutilated body part in front of me. And what's happened since I've taken the pledge is the tables have turned and they ask me the questions. So, and even not even when we're eating and sitting down and eating food. So, for example, I went up to see my brother and my sister-in-law in Cheshire. This was November 2019. And my brother had covered up all the meat in his fridge, all the animal products, because he didn't want to upset me. He was worried about upsetting me. They're not vegan, obviously. But we got there on the Friday night and he sat there and he started asking me about the pledge. So we hadn't even sat down for food yet. He's already asking me about the pledge and what it means to me and why I've taken it. So, yeah, they're not vegan yet, but obviously we've had restrictions the last year. But I'm hoping that eventually I'll get some people to go vegan from taking this because it does open the conversation up. I do know people, well, I don't know them personally, but I do know there are people that have taken the Liberation Pledge and have got people to go vegan because of the pledge.
Wow. People saw how seriously it needs to be taken, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's a very positive experience there. Is it always positive?
Nope.
Okay.
Not always. No, definitely not. I won't mention who it was, but we went to stay with people. And before we went to stay with them, my husband, who is vegan but hasn't taken the pledge, called them up. Well, I think he actually just messaged them and told them about my pledge. That was the mistake that we made. It should have been me. I should have made a video call. I should have called them up, and I should have spoken to them about the pledge and what it means to me and why I'd taken it. There are certain ways that you can explain this, but if you're explaining it yourself to that person, you can, get across that emotion.
Yeah.
Of what it means to you and why you've done it. And this is the problem we had, is my husband had explained it to them. He understands why I've taken it, and he does support me 100%, but he's not going to take it. It's not something he wants to do. Anyway, they were not happy about that I was not going to break bread with them. And this is the thing I think that my husband didn't explain very well. It's like, I'm happy to break bread with them, but I just want them to have vegan food rather than eat animals. And then it was like, well, it's going to be a pain because, we'll be cooking you guys vegan food. And that's, well, actually, it'll be easier because you'll only have to cook one meal for all of us. So it's actually
surely
less
they were
of a
prepared
pain.
to make 2 meals originally, right?
They were prepared to make 2 meals, and they weren't prepared to give up meat for that short time that we were going to be with them, which was like 4 days, I think. So it was uncomfortable because there was one day where we had a barbecue and my husband cooked all the food. I sat at the table and we ate our food. I ate it super quick because the other person was coming back in from the barbecue with shrimps that they cooked. And my husband looked at me and said, "You're finishing that before they come back, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." Because it's the only way I could live the pledge and be in their house without them kind of clocking on that had happened.
Absolutely.
And then there was one day we went out for food and they had animals on their table, on their plate, at the table. And I didn't step up and go away. I sat there and ate with them. And I'd only taken the pledge, I think, like 3 weeks. I'd been had the pledge. And I wish I'd got up. Next time that happens, I will take my plate. And it has happened actually since then. With another occasion, I got up and took my plate away and sat at a different table while they were eating their food.
What was the reaction then?
The reaction since then, that was family I can talk about. That was people I can talk about. Is my brother and his sister again. So the first time we went up, they were brilliant. They ate vegan all weekend. They had their kids vegan. It was fantastic. The next time we went up was for his birthday, and it was a birthday family meal with his mum, and because we don't have the same mum. And then they, I didn't want to kind of push it too much, so I just sat and ate at a different table because I just didn't want to make a scene on his birthday with my stepmother. And he saw my first video on my YouTube channel explaining why I took the pledge. He sent me a message going, "I feel absolutely awful that I made you feel like that, and that I didn't realise, even though we'd spoken about it, I don't think he kind of realised how upsetting it was for me to watch animals being eaten." And he said he would rather have me at the table with him and spend time with me than put me through that again and make me feel ostracised from the table, which was awesome.
Have you lost friends or family doing this?
Since doing the pledge?
Yeah.
No, I've not lost any friends and family since doing the pledge. I've lost friends and family since I've become vegan.
Okay.
But not since I've done the pledge. No.
Is that because you're so militant?
Yeah, I think at the start, and don't get me wrong, I'm still an angry vegan. I am so angry about what's happening to the animals at the moment. But I think at the start, when you find it out, you're so in shock and in awe, and you're so angry, and you just want to tell everybody, and you tell everybody that you can, and all your friends and family, because you think, well, they're my friends and family, so they're going to feel the same as me because we have the same likes and we have the same desires and we have the same compassion. So you think they're going to connect straight away and be like you, and that's not the case. I do know some vegans that got their friends and family to go vegan, and that's great. But
that's a difficult thing to accept when because somebody who's close to you, like you and I, like we're quite knowledgeable about what's really going on. So our loved ones, they know, they have no excuse. They know everything because I tell them, you know?
Yeah.
So it's so hard to accept that they're still going to continue being a part of that while having the knowledge. How do you accept that? I don't know. So
the only way I accept that is by getting out on the streets and telling strangers, because they seem to be a lot more open to it. I mean, don't get me wrong, some friends and family, some not family, but some work colleagues and acquaintances have gone vegan, or they're cutting down. I'm not an advocate for cutting down, as you know, but when they I had a friend message me, God, it's probably about a year and a half ago, and he sent me this really long message. He lives in New Zealand, and he's just basically telling me, look, this is before I started my YouTube channel. It's just on Facebook. I had an Instagram, but I wasn't really using it. And he was just saying that, well, thank you for everything that you've done, everything that you said. Keep saying, because I'm not there yet, but I get it. You're getting there. Don't give up. And then he sent me another message this year saying, look, this is where I am now. I'm just eating fish. Like, I've cut out everything else. So what I do is when friends and family say they're cutting back, I ask them what stage they're at. And then I send them information about that stage that they're at, so it will help them further. So my friend in New Zealand, when he said he was eating fish, I sent him Earthling Ed's video about fish that went up last year, which was absolutely brilliant. I sent him some other fact sheets about fish, and I explained to him, because I'm not going to go, well done, congratulations, pat on the back. I'm going to go, right, okay, so this is where you are, this is where you need to be. Here's the push, here's the help. I'm not going to fluff it up for you. I'm just not. You're either vegan or you're abusing animals. I don't care. There was a video recently that Trash Carcass put up that was about a critique on a video from Humane Hancock.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Saying that we should pat them on the back. No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I was abusing meat for 40 years. I was abusing animals for 40 years of my life. And I was lying to myself for 40 years and paying for that abuse. And I buried my head in the sand. My friend asked me to watch Earthlings years ago, and I never watched it. And do you know what? I really wish I bloody well had watched it. And I'm not easy on myself, so why the hell am I going to be easy on someone else? Because I'm always beating myself up for ignoring that fact and for making that connection too late. Like, great, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I'm there. But I've got a lot of time to make up for.
And that's the biggest regret of every vegan I've noticed, is they didn't do it sooner.
Yeah.
For me, how I try to work out if something is okay with what we're doing with animals, I put it into a human context, if my mind isn't made up yet, you know. So I'm not accepting meat-free Mondays because I'm not accepting I don't beat my wife on Mondays. you know.
Yes.
Any human issue like this, I don't accept it at all. It's not meet me halfway. It's abolition.
Definitely. 100%.
So when somebody does say to you, I am making steps towards it, I am, I've just cut out red meat, or, I'm only eating meat on the weekends. What's your actual wording to this?
My actual wording is, what do you need help on?
That's good.
What's stopping you? Yeah. What are your blocks? Why are you not going 100% vegan? If you know and you're making steps towards it, then why are you still making steps? Like, if you know that, child abuse is wrong, okay? Are you making steps towards reducing that in your life, or are you already just not doing it?
Yeah.
You're already just not doing it, right? So
once you know it's wrong, that should be it. You cut out any action that you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a little bit disingenuous when people are just making steps. I guess there may be some exceptions where people are just totally uneducated on, say, nutrition, and they do genuinely believe they need to be eating animals to survive. I'm not sure many people really believe that, but there are people. So
I think
in that case,
I kind of believe that, though. When I first went vegan, Because my husband is an ex-chef, and he's done all the cooking. I'm a crap cook. I'm not now, but I used to be. And then when we first went vegan, because I've got a heart condition and my husband's got health issues as well,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that we were getting everything that we needed from our diet. So I did loads of research. I got all the vitamins that we needed, and I made sure that we were having like, nuts every day and seeds every day, and all the things that you need to have. I think I've taken more interest in my nutrition since I went vegan than I did beforehand, because I didn't believe that I could be healthy vegan. I thought I needed to do this, and you do need to do it properly. You do need to plan it.
Yeah.
Of course you do. But
like any big
you need
diet
to plan
change.
a diet. Exactly. Yeah. You need to plan a diet, whether you're a meat eater or you're a vegan. You need to plan it. You need to understand what you're getting on a daily basis. And it's like the whole, like, five portions of fruit and veg a day. How many people do that? I was like consciously doing that before I was vegan, like consciously making sure I had 5 portions a day. So, I did. I think I did. Even when I went vegan, I watched the animal cruelty. It was ethics for me straight away. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. So I worried about the health side of it afterwards. And now there's so many fast food options. The health has kind of gone out the window a little bit.
I'm very much like that. I think if the rumours were true and veganism really was detrimental to your health, I think I would still be vegan. Because I am doing it for the animals. There's no other reason I am doing it. But I will understand why some people may be hesitant if they believe they're doing something really unhealthy. Which in that case, it's just a matter of education, isn't it? Just getting back to the pledge, a controversial character at the moment, but James Aspey at one point said that he won't take the pledge because when he sits at a table with someone who's eating a dead animal, that's a great time to talk to them about veganism. So what's your take on that?
Okay. So I mentioned a little bit, touched on it earlier. The experience I had with eating with people when I was having vegan food didn't really make a difference to them because, it did. They might taste it, like some people that are inquisitive or open-minded might want to have a taste and things. But like I said earlier, what I found that's happening was I was watching them eating the animal and I'm going, do you know, like that egg that you're eating, how many male chicks are killed every year in a meat grinder? And I'd be showing them videos and I'd want to scream and shout and James says, they get the experience and they taste your food. But what's better than them, you all having, like, if you're at a restaurant that's got 5 vegan options and there's 4 of you and you've all got a different vegan option, they're eating the vegan option as well. So what's the, and for me, like I said, that brick wall doesn't go up. You don't have that stress at the meal that they know you're pissed off and it ends up in an argument, or it did for me, because they don't want to hear it.
You think the defences are up in that moment? Okay.
That's what I think. Go on.
I wondered it was either defences would go up or that connection would more easily be made because it's happening right now. And I'm not sure.
For me, if the experiences that I've had when I've brought up, animal rights, when someone's eating a cow, is they're putting that piece of meat in their mouth and they're either going to go, this is putting me off my food, stop talking about it, which I've had before. Can you stop talking about this now? Because I'm trying to eat and you're putting me off. Or they're going to rub it in your face and they're just going to go, and be really sarky about it. Right? You're
Fair play, yeah.
One of those two.
When I've tried to talk to people while they're eating animals, that is what happens. Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right.
Which one happens out of the two? I'm interested.
Well, both, but usually it's the first one where it's, come on, Reese, don't put me, I'm trying to eat my food here. Don't put me off it. Yeah, so maybe you are right there. Maybe that's not the right time to talk to someone about veganism.
But if they're eating vegan food, completely different. Like I said,
perhaps they can imagine what that would be like if they went fully vegan. Like, oh, actually, this is quite nice. I could eat this food.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big advocate to the fact that we should be talking about other different, forms of animal abuse, like horse racing, like dog racing, like fur, animal testing. We shouldn't just be focusing on the food, but food is a big part of people's lives, and we need food to live. We need to eat it, and we have to have it to survive. But I just feel that since taking the pledge, the fact that it's called liberation is how I feel. I feel liberated at the table. I'm not stressed about eating with friends and family anymore. And like I said earlier, the tables have turned. Rather than me bringing it up, they bring it up. They ask questions. So why? So what do you do about this? What do you do about that? How does this happen? What happens here? They're asking the questions. It's brilliant. I love it. It's fantastic. But I've got a friend of mine, Amy, who I've been friends with for, coming up to 8 years now. And so I've been vegan for 3. Every time that we've been out for food since I've been vegan, she's always eaten vegan. She's never even asked. Yeah. And she's not vegan, but she's eaten vegan when she's with me. And I've never asked her, ever. But another question I want to put to people, to the listeners out there, how often do you sit with someone and they say, do you mind if I eat this in front of you? And to you as well, Reese.
I think this never happened.
It's never happened?
No, I don't think so.
I get that. I used to get that quite a lot before I took the pledge. Especially at work, I'd be sat down at a table in work and they'd be like, oh, do you mind if I sit here? Because they know I'm vegan. And do you mind if I eat this? I've got chicken. Do you mind if I eat that in front of you?
Oh, in my experience, like people just don't give a shit.
I
usually get
say that.
What I do get is someone will offer me something that's not vegan, and then say, "Oh, do you want a Malteser?" Oh, sorry, Rich, you can't have that. And for some reason, that always sort of irked me, and I don't know. I didn't realize why for a long time, but it was that word "can't." You can't have that, like it's an allergy or something. You know what? It's like what I'm doing here is standing up against something. It's not like, do you know what I mean? I can't seem to put that into words.
When I've had people say that to me before as well. Oh, I'm sorry, Rebecca, you can't have this. Like when I worked in an office before lockdown, and people were bringing cakes or they bring in, snacks or whatever. They go, oh, sorry, Rebecca, you can't have this. And I'm like, no, I can have that. I choose not to.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Yeah,
I choose not to participate in animal abuse, and I'm that honest. I've always been quite blunt.
Oh, that's literally what you say, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally what I say. But, I know there's a lot of controversy about that at the moment. You need to tiptoe around people, but I wish that people hadn't have tiptoed around me. And I've never been a tiptoer anyway. So if I've got friends and their dress looks shit on them, I'm going to tell them they look shit. I don't want my friends going out looking like shit, so I'll tell them.
Fair play.
Rubbish. And I'd want the same thing to happen to me. Like I wouldn't want someone saying, "Yeah, no, you look fat in that," and I would want them to say that to me to stop me going out. But yeah, I think that's the one thing that irks me as well. So you can't have this. Like it's some sort of luxury having animal products flowing through your body parts.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember where it was. It may well have been George Martin actually, who brought up. Was it him? I'm pretty sure. Who brought up that you should say "I don't" or "I won't eat that" instead of "I can't." Yeah. And since I heard that, I feel a lot more. I don't know what the word is. Maybe free, or just.
Yeah.
I'm able to explain my point more just by changing one letter. I think people can get it more.
I understand completely. It's a psychological thing as well. Like if you say "can't," it makes it feel like it's forbidden. And we all know as humans we want what we can't have. It's just a natural thing that humans have. Like, so I wanted to be with my husband for 15 years and I couldn't be with him. I couldn't have him, but I waited and I got him in the end. But yeah. So if someone says you can't have it, especially when you're a little kid, it's like if you say to your kid you can't have those sweets until you finish your dinner, just makes them want it more, and that doesn't change just because we're adults. It's still the same. So changing that terminology, saying I don't want that.
You know what? I had a comment on one of my videos before saying the only thing stopping them going vegan is because they don't want. I don't know how they worded it, but it's sort of I don't want to be unable to eat these things, I can't remember how they worded it, but they used the word can't.
Yeah.
And I explained to them, once I figured out that I don't or I won't eat it, that changed my psychology about things. And they said, yeah, actually, that was the last thing stopping them. And now they are actually 100% vegan. That was the only thing stopping them.
And I always say to everyone, anything you can do, I can do vegan. Literally anything, clothes, food, anything at all. So there's nothing you can't have. Like, I love tortillas. Yeah. I absolutely love tortillas. And there's a recipe out there for vegan tortillas with chickpea flour.
I've just been finding out about the problem with bread. I've only just found out. So, yeah, I have been eating bread. I thought it was a meme, vegans can't eat bread. I thought that was a meme. Because I didn't see anything in the ingredients.
There are breads out there that are vegan, though.
But, I mean, I never knew I had to look for the right one. So I just found out it might have feathers. What's going on with toilet roll? I've heard this, actually. It's like the glue or something that holds the pieces together.
That holds the pieces together and holds the... So I get, again, not sponsored, but Who Gives a Crap? So that's...
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like toothpaste. There's so many things out there. What was it, pepper, you guys were on about the other day? Was it you guys on about pepper, or was that winding me up?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure it was you and vegan guys. It might have been someone else. Saying that pepper's not vegan. I was like, what?
No, that wasn't me. Was that true?
I couldn't find anything anywhere.
Okay.
So I don't know if they were just having me on. I think maybe it was Aaron and vegan gays. It was definitely vegan gays involved going, oh my God, Rebecca, you haven't been eating pepper, have you? I was like, every day, what?
That's a surefire way to freak a vegan out, man.
It's ruined my last 3 years of veganism. Gone out the window.
That's it, not vegan anymore.
Advocating for the animals and eating pepper.
All right, so just to bring it back to the pledge now, do you remember the moment that you took the pledge, and what did that look like?
Yeah, so I kind of staggered it a little bit because I went to the Animal Rights March in August of 2019. I stayed with my friend Mark. He told me about the pledge. I came home and I said to my husband, I think I'm going to take the Liberation Pledge. I'm just going to mull it over and I'm going to think about it. And I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of videos. I watched, other YouTubers that have taken the pledge and their experiences and the pros and the cons. And I worked out if I'd be able to fit it into my life with work and friends and family. And then I just decided, and we had a meal booked with my mum and my stepfather and my in-laws, which we often do, like the six of us would get together, or we used to. Unfortunately, my father-in-law's passed away. But and I had a meal booked with them, and I thought, well, I'm not going to, we've already booked it. And I kind of decided the day or so before that I was definitely going to take it. And we went out, it was the beginning of September, I think. I think the meal might have been the end of August. And I said, well, I'll take it from the 1st of September.
Okay.
So we all went out and we had the meal, and my mother-in-law had the vegan option. The meal, which didn't even ask, she just had the vegan option. Father-in-law didn't, and my mother and stepfather didn't either. And then we went back to my in-laws afterwards, and I hadn't phoned my mum yet to tell her about the pledge. I was planning on speaking to her later on, but I didn't want to do it at the meal. So we went back to my in-laws. I said to my father and mother-in-law that I'd taken the pledge and why I'd taken it, and the reaction was it was okay, but it wasn't perfect. This is very extreme. We're never going to eat together again. That's not going to happen for us to take the vegan option. I went, you ate the vegan option today at lunch. Oh, okay. And then even my husband was like, Mum, you often have the vegetarian or vegan option, so it's not going to be that much of a big thing for you to eat vegan. It would be more my father-in-law, because he was a meat and two veg sort of guy, but actually he was fantastic. He was great. Didn't mind at all. And then when I phoned my mother up, it was, it wasn't great. Again, that was a mistake I made. I'd just taken the pledge. I would recommend to anyone taking the pledge, don't tell people over the phone. Okay. Alex Bears, who probably people aren't a big fan of, but he did a video and he went out for a coffee with his mum and told his mum over coffee, face to face. And that's what I would do. Even invite your family over for a meal and, you know, your friends over and cook them food. But I did a post on Facebook announcing it, but I did it over the phone with my mum, and I tried to explain to her that, you know, she just got a dog, a puppy.
Yeah.
And I said, if I was invited you over and I was serving you dog, how would you feel? And she went, well, that's not going to happen. I said, I know that's not going to happen, but I'm just saying, if I was. And she loves dolphins. And like, if I was going to give you dolphin meat for dinner, would you eat it? She was like, no, I wouldn't. And I went, well, that's how I feel about the animals. I don't see the bits of chicken that you had in your food yesterday. I said, I see what I saw. What I said I saw earlier, the chicken going through and hanging from her legs. And she said, but that wasn't a whole chicken, it was chicken bits. And I went, yeah, but it doesn't matter, Mum. That's, you know, it's, I still see the same thing. And she just doesn't get it, unfortunately. But yeah, it was, I think it was, I've diverted from your question. So yeah, it was like August 2019, and I decided to take it on the 1st of September. I think it was like from the 1st of the month. But yeah, sorry, I rambled.
That's fine. Do you think you would have taken it if your husband wasn't vegan?
I don't know if I'd still be with my husband if he wasn't vegan. I seriously don't. I seriously don't think I would be. And we've talked about it before, and I'm really lucky because I watched 3 films that made me go vegan, and then my husband came home and I said, I'm done, I'm going vegan. And he actually started us off on this journey anyway. So we had cut back. We'd cut back on our animal products quite a lot. And we were we flipped meat-free Mondays on the head. So we were doing meat-free all week and having 1 day of meat. So Sundays was meat day. So we had cut back quite a lot, but we were big meat eaters. And that Sunday was a lot of, it wasn't worth cutting it out in the week because we had so much on the bloody Sunday, to be honest with you. But he said he went vegan straight away, and he said, I'll go vegan with you when I said I was going vegan, which blew me away. Oh, wow. I didn't expect that. Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. But I have said to him that if he hadn't, I probably wouldn't allow him to have animal products in the house.
Yeah.
I probably would have at first, but I think once I became an animal rights activist, then I wouldn't have been able to stand it in the house. We've had non-vegans stay here, and I've said to them, you know, you can't bring any animal products into the house at all. I'm not having them in my house. In fact, someone did come and stay with us for a while, and they bought milk in the house, and I put it in the bin.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I said, you can have our milk, but you're not bringing, I don't want it in the house. So,
yeah.
But I don't know if I'd taken the pledge. I don't know if I would have become active if my husband wasn't vegan. I think it would have taken me a lot longer without having his support.
It's good that you did have that support. I found myself, you know, going vegan and being vegan activist, there's a big difference, I think, in the amount that you empathize with the animals.
Yeah.
And what you said then, like when I first started dating my girlfriend now, I was vegan and she was vegetarian, I believe. And for me, it wasn't like a big deal, you know, like it'd be nice if she was vegan, but it's okay. But then since going activist, I've only been like active for a few months, to be honest. But, you know, even in that time, now I don't know how I would handle it. You know, I would actually have to call it into question. Luckily, she is vegan now.
That's good.
Yeah. If she wasn't, I don't know what would happen. I wouldn't say like I like made her do it, you know, but it was sort of, it's all I can talk about now. And sort of like my videos and sort of, I'm quite, compared to most people, I'm quite educated on what's going on now. Especially with like health. I think health was standing in a way as well, sort of these misconceptions. So I've been able to sort of debunk that. So yeah, I think maybe I might have been like that sort of catalyst, but she's done a lot of it on her own, which has been really nice. Thank you.
I do feel for those vegans out there that live with non-vegans.
Yeah.
And I know a few activists that live with non-vegans as well, and I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I mean, my husband's not active. He's probably turned more friends and vegan than I have. He's got a lot of work colleagues that have gone vegan now that he's helped go vegan and
Wow.
things like that. Yeah. What I love that he said he did was months ago. He was getting some lunch with some work colleagues in the co-op or wherever, and he bent down to get this food out of the fridge, and he went, "Oh no, that's got cow in it. I'm not having that," and put it back because it was right next to the vegan option.
Yeah.
But he picked it up and went, "Oh, that's got cow in it," and I was like, "I love that you said that. That you didn't say, oh, it's beef. You said the animal that was in that food." So he is quite vocal about things like that. He doesn't do any animal rights activism apart from that, but that's, to my eyes, that's still activism if you're talking to your friends and family. But he is my activism enabler.
And you said he's helped a lot of people go vegan. So how's he doing that? What's his sort of method?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him. But I think he's had quite a few work colleagues that have, talked to him about it, and he's a lot more. This is the thing. You've got your Joey Carbstrongs of the world who are like in your face, tell it how it is, and and then you've got your earthling lads that are patient and quiet and calm and just beautiful. I wish I could talk like Ed. I'm kind of more the Joey Carbstrong side though. I'm kind of like in your face as it is. Whereas I think my husband's a bit more earthling lad and a bit more approachable than I am, shall we say.
Okay.
And then maybe that's how it's worked better for him than, not that my way hasn't worked. It hasn't worked on friends and family, but it has worked on people in the streets. I've had people come back to me and say they've gone vegan because of the conversation that we've had. So I know I've turned people vegan. And like I said, I've had a few work colleagues that my approach has worked on as well, because I show graphic images on my Facebook and I don't mince my words. So yeah, I think it depends on the person you're outreaching to. I really do.
Absolutely. I find myself like, I think I try to be more sort of Earthling Ed in my activism, but it was the Joey Carbstrongs that made me go vegan. And it was Joey Carbstrong himself who made me go get into activism. So yeah, I think we need all sorts of activists doing all sorts of different things, having all sorts of different personalities, because the people we're talking to have all sorts of different personalities.
Exactly.
And people respond to different things.
Yeah, it's Mippy Valentine is the one that made me go active. She's the reason I became an activist. Yeah.
Do you know what it was exactly?
She was at I think it's one of the very first Meet the Victims events, or it was a DXE event maybe, at a pig farm in Australia, and it was a James Aspey video, because I'd not long been vegan and I was watching vegan, like you do, you throw yourself into all these vegan YouTubers and vegan celebrities. I know people hate that word, but the voices out there, the faces on the front line, and he was walking over going, "Oh, there's Mippy's being interviewed by the news here, by the local news about what's going on," and she was saying to them, "Look, if 50% of vegans were active, we'd have a vegan world last week." And she just called people out to be inactive. Like, you need to go out and do something about it. And that was in I think that was May 2018. And it did take me until the September to get off my ass and get the confidence to do it, because I wasn't confident. I suffered really badly with anxiety. So it took a lot for me to get out there and actually speak to people on the streets, but it was Mippy's the one that inspired me still. I started watching her on Facebook and started following her on YouTube and her Instagram, and she's just incredible, absolutely incredible.
It's interesting because it's quite a similar catalyst for me. It was realizing that being vegan isn't doing a good thing. It's just being neutral.
Yeah.
So once I realized,
it's an obligation.
Yeah, literally it's the absolute minimum you could do. Once I realized, okay, I'm not actually helping the animals at all by going vegan here. I'm just not hurting them myself as much, I guess. And yeah, that's what made me want to get into it properly. So I noticed your bracelet, the fork bracelet. Did you make this yourself, or did you buy it?
I wish I did. No, I bought it. There's a woman on Etsy in the States. I think she's in New York or somewhere, and she's one of the few ones that makes them at the time. I think there's a few more out there now. There's a woman who contacted me. She's based in the north of the UK, and she makes them, and I share her page now on my YouTube channel.
I notice it's in every description, right?
There's in every description, yeah. So where you can get one. And I found a bunch of forks myself that my husband had collected because he wanted, I don't know why, he wanted old-fashioned forks. He started buying them from second-hand shops and car boot sales and whatever. But there's a bag full of them, and he hasn't polished them up or done anything with them. So thinking I might start making them myself. But yeah, this is the one that I bought.
What does it say on there then?
It says liberation.
Ah.
Actually, it's upside down. So if I take it off.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. And I guess they've sort of taken the points out of it.
A little rose out. No, it's still got the points on.
Oh, okay.
So.
And do you wear this all the time, or?
Not so much in lockdown.
Did you put it on especially for this?
I did put it on for this video. Yeah, I have stuff at home at the moment, so I don't really need to have it on. But if I'm out of the house, it's on my arm, definitely. 100%.
Is it sort of a conversation starter?
Yes, definitely. And that's the other thing. Like the whole animals first or the second. That's a massive conversation starter because you've got a big black cross on your hand, haven't you? So.
What? I don't know this. What is it?
You don't know animals first?
I'm new to all this, honestly.
I meant to be interviewing the guy that came up with it, and I haven't closed down a time with him, so I'm going to sort that out for next week. But yeah, animal first on the second is you fast on the second day of every month.
Oh yeah, okay.
And you put a circle on your hand with a cross, which is meant to represent a plate and no food on it. And the reason for it is because the animals, when they're on the way to the slaughterhouse, they don't have any food or water. So yeah, that it's to kind of, and you do a whole photo and a post on your Facebook and Instagram, and you put your hand over your mouth, and yeah. So.
Oh wow, what is that called?
Animals first on the second.
I'm gonna look into that. And you said you'll be interviewing the guy as well, so that'll be on your channel.
Hopefully, yeah. I need to sort it out. So I'm just trying to get on top. I've got how many videos to edit now? I think I've got 5 videos to edit now.
Do you have a set day that you like to upload?
Yeah, Thursdays at 6:30. I joined, Grumpy did a stream about the Liberation Pledge, and I went on there for that, and he was like trying to say it was, what would you do about sitting in a taxi with people that are, I do sit in a taxi with leather seats.
Is this just sort of like the Omni sort of desert island type questions?
Exactly. It's like, well, I don't live in a vegan world. I can't guarantee a taxi's going to come up with non-leather seats and sitting with people while they're wearing wool and wearing leather. And it's like, well, let's start, the food. And again, I hate focusing on the food, but let's start with the food first of all, and then we'll move on to the rest.
You are right. Like, I do understand, like, animals, horse riding and SeaWorld and zoos and circuses, they get forgotten because we are always talking about food. And I suppose there's a good reason for it. That's where we're abusing animals the most. But you're right, they're absolutely forgotten. I was a vegetarian for 16 years for the animals, in quotations. I really believed I was doing it for the animals. And I was still going to zoos. I was like seeing animals in these small cages, walking around in circles because they're going crazy. And they're depressed. And, I was going there for entertainment while supposedly supporting the animals. So, yeah, we need more content and education surrounding these types of things.
Yeah, we do, definitely.
Change is happening. I can't remember, it might be Cirque du Soleil or one of the big circuses, maybe in Germany, actually. They're not using animals in the circus anymore. And now they have hologram. So they still have elephants, but they're holographic.
That's brilliant.
Really cool.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
And, that's really cool in itself, having holograms. So I think that's going to work. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you wish I had?
No, I wish I got more emotional when I was talking about the pledge, but never mind.
I'll just download some like crying sound effects and just put them in. Okay, in 10 words, plug your channel.
If you want a vegan world, you need to share my channel to get people active. that's more than 10 words, but there you go.
I'll let you off. So that's Vegan Pixie Warrior on YouTube. You're on Instagram by the same name?
I am on Instagram by the same name, yeah. And I've got a Facebook page by the same name, which I'm not very active on and I need to sort out.
But there's no hamming us liking it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Be back again soon. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
Bye.